A man named Warren Davis helped create the arcade classic Q-Burt, but years later worked at Check 6. He was responsible for programming Crop Circle Country's UFO Cow minigame, as well as designing multiple others. Warren also helped with a variety of other things at the company, including being the sole reason for the game even being published in the end. Luckily, we managed to share a conversation with him.
The only things that I did design, and this was very late in the process when we were sort of scrambling to finish the game, were some mini games. Just again, trying to flesh out and add things at the last minute. And a lot of the stuff I was implementing was generic. After I left Check 6 and Equinox had split. I did go to work for Equinox for a while. I haven't looked at that game or played that game since it was released. Believe me, I moved on to other things and put it behind me. I think I have some old design documents in a box somewhere. As I recall, we did not have access to Insomniac at all. And as far as I knew and as far as I was told, they were not available to us as resources. Because we asked. I mean, that was that would have been an important thing for us to have access to the original programmers. I don't think there was a lot of pride, in how things turned out. Everybody just wanted to move on. I mean, Joel especially. Joel was the designer. He had great ideas and grand ideas, and he had a real vision for what the potential was for this game. And, he was frustrated because he wasn't allowed to see that to fruition. It was a case of Universal, who owned the property, signed off on a deal to have Check 6 develop this game, and there was a design in place that they signed off on, or at least they signed a contract that said, yes, we want you to develop this game. But then once we were in production, the design kept changing. It's like they couldn't make up their mind what they wanted. That's not a good thing to happen during the development of a game, to have to constantly be changing. You set milestones and you set schedules based on a game's design, and you say, this is what we have to do. And then all of a sudden, the people who are writing your paychecks are saying like, yeah, let's throw that out. Let's put this in. Let's just keep changing it. When things got bad between Check 6 and Equinox, when the mistrust between the leaders of those companies really got in the way of the game being completed, I kind of just stepped in to try to make sure that at least a game got finished. Because honestly, we were at a point where the game was not going to get finished. Literally, there was one day when I came to work and our receptionist said, go home. They've sent everybody home. We're done. They're throwing in the towel. They don't want to work with each other anymore. I'm talking about the guys running the two companies. And I said, let me talk to them. And I literally put them in a room and mediated between them. And I think we were in there for like 6 hours. And finally, at the end of the day, they agreed at least to keep working together. I wouldn't say they were best friends. Nobody hugged. But at least the game went on. And a game was finished. So I guess that was my mission. My mission at some point just to, was to try to get something out the door.
Hi guys, welcome back. Scatlink here, and we're off for more of Spyro 4 Enter the Dragonfly. And in the last episode, we had pain and suffering because of Thieves' Den. We constantly went back to that water room that is so far away from the end of the level, so I just left the level, came back in. Enemies were falling into the pit. I mean, if you head bash them, the gems shouldn't fall into the pit, and I don't think I had that. It's just, I had a sneaking suspicion that they were falling in the pit, because when I ground pounded them, they kept falling over the edges, and I kept thinking I missed a gem, and ironically enough, I didn't. And, well, as you can see from my, well, actually, I should just be able to press the R button to bring it up. Yeah, I'm down to 12 lives. I suffered immensely.
Hooray! You did it! My contraption is working! Step right in and it will transport you somewhere really cool. At least, I think it will.
What do you mean you think it will? You should know. You came from there. Right, into the magical portal of Mystic Ruins we go, because we are in, if you can believe it or not, the final level of Spyro 4, Enter the Dragonfly. That is, well, other than Enchanted Forest, which was planned to be the final level, but as you've seen, it's just a wall of trees. Also, I don't know if that energy ball that Spyro is in right now is doing his eyes in, because he is shielding his face with that. It's a good thing that we entered into the level with that ability. Whoa, those enemies just popped in. That's rude.
Aha, Spyro! The R1000 and the T-Rex-1000s have escaped from their inescapable cages and are running amok through the jungle. Please stop them before they destroy the rest of the science labs and all of our research.
Why did you build R1000s and T-Rex-1000s? Or you didn't, and it was Ripto and his Riptocs that have cobbled them together from your research. I need to know this.
No problem. But say, what's a R1000 something something?
Oh, well, to put it in simplified terms that even a dragon can understand,
Rude.
they're mechanically enhanced nanotech propulsion-oriented Riptocs, which we've been working on here in our labs. Quite the state-of-the-art, I might add, but they're very edgy.
Why would you build Riptocs? The Dragon Realms even never heard of the Riptocs until, you know, Spyro came back from Avalar. Was this happening during Year of the Dragon?
Oh, really? And how exactly would I go about destroying these things?
Nah, straight to the point.
Well, we did find a flaw in the R1000 models when they were exposed to sub-zero temperatures. Perhaps that information will come in useful.
Yeah, so they're weak to ice breath. We get you.
No problem. I have just the right breath to chill them out.
What if I clipped through the gate and I didn't do that?
Great! On the other hand, the T-Rex 1000s are quite vulnerable to electricity. Yet we've not been able to get close enough to them to zap them with an electrical charge.
So, we need both breaths, not fire, but our other offensive breaths including ice and electricity. I think that's pretty unique, actually. Giving a little bit more worth to our new breath abilities. Because obviously the bubble breath is just used to capture wandering dragonflies. So we're not using our flame breath in this jungle. Looks like they were trying to go research. Obviously it's called Jurassic Jungle. They were going for like a... Oh, apparently there are a multitude of caveman Riptocs that we need to take care of. Don't know if you're the ones that are weak to electricity. Probably not. Ow, rude. Nope. Charging you, that does the trick. So I'm guessing it's the other ones that probably stand on fire that's probably not going to be able to be affected by ice, because it's just going to immediately melt. So those would be the ones that we would have to use our electricity in order to deal with. Also, these electrical barriers look very Ratchet and Clank-like, considering that, you know, it's on the same... Well, would say the same system. I am playing on the GameCube version, which will be a little bit of a detriment in the final episode, just saying. So I'm not actually going to be able to cover everything, but thankfully, Kyle / Mr. FO1 has got our bags. And I've been talking to him about that as well. Right, so let's freeze you before you blast me. There you are, dead. Freeze into him, charge him. Got some chrome lizards that are our fodder for the day. I mean, maybe they're chameleons, and because of all the metallic enemies running around, maybe they're trying to blend in. The problem is, you're on green... Like, you're on grass. You're not exactly blending in. Barks? Bloody hell, that one gave you the runaround, didn't it? Just making sure I didn't miss anything. We'll go up there in just a moment. We've got some stuff over here. Freeze that. Although we don't really need to. But yeah, this is the final level of the game that we have right now, and it's a little bit of a shame, really, but it's also like bite-size classic Spyro, unfortunately, but at the exact same time, it's still been a great adventure. Yeah, that's a Pirate Cove chest. We've covered that already. Or Mr. FO1 did, but you get what I mean. We need a key for that, so we'll have to come back real soon. Now, though, we just want to avoid burning our butts. Because we're going into a temple that is basically in and out of a volcano. Yeah, that doesn't sound exactly like the best idea, unless you're trying to worship something like a lava god, the devil himself. Who knows what they were doing at Mystic Ruins. Let's just hop around and let's go in. I have a feeling I'm going to be missing gems, because I don't think there was that many gems at the start of this level. Yeah, and I don't have the... thankfully, I don't need to worry about potentially losing gems over edges in this level. There's not that many bottomless pits. And I know for a fact that we have a slide to do. So, that'd be fun. He bonked in my head because I'm an idiot. Talk to you, Mr. Mouse.
Gems. Still fresh. 3 days. They're following us. Hey, Spyro, I've been studying this temple, and it's quite fascinating.
Oh yeah? How so?
Well, I believe that these strange drawings on the walls are a clue to something hidden away in this temple. But I can't quite decipher them yet.
Dragons like treasure.
Yes, and from what I have been able to decipher, it seems that the gems on the statues inside react to heat. Perhaps you can figure out the rest, Spyro.
Ah, so all of our breaths come into play in this level. Now we have a reason to use our fire breath as well. Considering that, you know, Enchanted Forest was probably supposed to be the final level, although this does give more final level vibes because of lava and all that, in like a cave-like system, it puts all of our abilities to use. Also, his name was Copeland. Was that a reference to Stuart Copeland? Not the main composer. He is credited as one of the main composers, but he came in rather late. I think that's already been covered in the documentary that we've shown so far. But yeah, someone else pretty much did the soundtrack for the game, really. He was actually quite shocked on how much he actually worked on during an interview. I don't know if I'll put that at the beginning of this video or another video. I do record these in batches before I edit. So, but yeah, it's quite interesting to think that, you know, whenever you hear like bells or, you know, like a drum beat, that's pretty much Copeland. But he also mentioned use some of the tribal like yells and chants that you'd hear throughout the soundtrack, which is kind of interesting, really. I mean, clearly they wanted to go a different direction sound-wise, and I guess that makes sense. I mean, like, Ricky was quite partial to the Asian kind of archetype, hence Dragonfly Dojo. I missed a basket. Right, so let's get our fire breath ready. And we're going to have to do some puzzle-like shenanigans here. Notice that when we blow on these statues, they glow. We're going to solve a puzzle here. So what I'm going to do is climb up here. Purple, blue. Red. Gonna need to get my ice. There's a... Alright, that works. Alright, and then blow bubbles on you. There we go. Not that good.
Hey, it's Doompa.
Doompa? Oompa loompa doobity doo. What are you doing in here, you fool? That doesn't really rhyme, but it's fine. I tried. That's the main thing. Just trying to get all these gems. A little bit awkward. Just glide over here. Don't mind me. Bunch of gems underneath. How did you grab that one when I was nowhere near it? That was some hell of range there, Sparks. Actually, I have a feeling I've missed a few now. Wait, can I do this? And probably. Hang on, I can get back up here. It's fine. There we are. Want to look down. Yep, I had a feeling. I was missing a couple of gems. Glad I went back and grabbed those. Oh, there's gems on top of here. There we are. Wait, what the... Oh, that's the key! I was about to say, what was that? That looked so weird. And considering that it's literally just outside this temple, actually, I could go back and grab that literally right now, and it would not be much of a hindrance. But before I do that, I'm going to come back over this way. That's how we climb up here, but that's fine because I can climb on top of these. There we are. Get all these gems on the way back down. Did I just see a dragonfly in there? Yeah, I did. But I think he's protected by a sheen of glass. You can actually just barely tell. Yeah, he's kind of locked in there, so we need to solve the puzzle with this. But I'll go do that in a minute. For now, I want to just speed on back to the entrance. I can make my way around here and go grab this chest right down here. That was a bit of a skew whiff. That pushed me into that wall. Wasn't intended to do that. Easy! Actually, I just realised that was the old super power-up gate.
Hey, it's Jean-Marc.
I think that was one of the main people from Check 6, actually. Anyway, they've got to get back to where we were.
All the elements are there. What am I missing? Let's see. In oxide for speed.
Speed, eh? Maybe we got to light all of them at once. Well, that one's still glowing, actually, so that's kind of interesting. Just flame them all and see what happens. I'm bonking on nothing. There we go. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be doing too much. Either that was because I didn't do it in the right order, and they're not all sparkling. So what do we do? Sorry for the cutting around, but so we've already gone through this room. We can now solve this puzzle since we got the key. As well as grabbing everything in this room. You can see that we've been passing by the jewels on the wall. That's our clue, but it doesn't exactly look the most clear. I walked off the edge and fell. That's not exactly a problem, because the first that we're going to be looking at is over here. You can see that we've got 5 symbols, snake symbols, because there's one on the gem, and that's yellow. We make our way around the back end over here, go to this green. You'll notice that there's no symbol on the gem, and yet there are 2 dragon serpent symbols. You've got to do these in order. I don't know if that purple one will stay lit. So, we need to go around through this room again, now I've pointed these murals out, in order to solve the puzzle. A lot of people don't actually know that you're supposed to check these and do them in order, because it's not actually that clear, because you look at all of them, and unless you know what you're looking for, you wouldn't actually realise that it's telling you the order. But there is another way on solving it as well. So that one's got 4 symbols. Blue's got 3. Red's got 1, so red is definitely the one that we start with. Let's go and blow fire on the red one. Now, that's glowing. If I turn the camera around, the purple should stop glowing. Another way you can figure it out is by trial and error. Like, you blow fire on another gem, and if they're both shining, or all the ones that you've already blown fire on stay the same, that means you're doing it right. So I think the next one I've got to do is green. Yep, it's green. And it's blue. And here's the thing, there's no pink gem. There's a purple gem, though. See, look, they're still shining. So that's the trick. So then we do purple, which is number 4. And then we do yellow, which is number 5. Puzzle complete. I like how it did, like, the... Oh, he's just happy that he's free. I was about to say, because it did the sound effect like he walked, but he technically did.
Hey, it's Scarlet.
Oh, sorry, she. Apparently this is the Urza Scarlet of the Dragonflies. Getting herself into a bit of a bind. She did that near the end of this, well, the end of Series 2, during the Zeref battle. Antares, I think it was called? I forget. Been a while since I've watched Fairy Tail, right? Even though I have, well, on and off been playing the game on PS4. But now we are actually done with this room, so we can make our way out, and actually continue from here and grab more gems along the way. As well as get out of this temple, because I think we've been here for a little bit too long. Finally, our first checkpoint, Zoe! Where have you been? Seriously, they really need to add a few more in between. Like, just one checkpoint in between would do more than enough. Especially last level, Thieves' Den. That really annoyed me. Camera? Camera? Do you not want to get stuck on that stump? Also, I missed a gem. Let's go back and grab that real quick. Doesn't look like there's anything below me. So we're fine. It's not like we can walk onto the lava anyway unless we had a, you know, an invincibility power-up. Will we even get to have one of those? Maybe these Mises have put something together. You look breakable, actually. Let's try it. Nope. Okay, the knockback kind of messed me up there, but it's fine. Ooh, hey. I saw a crack in the seams there. This place is coming apart. I mean, at least for ruins, it makes sense. You could excuse it being part of the architecture, but you can see the skybox. I mean, pretty bad. Some pots down there. Go get those in the mix. They seem pretty far out of the way. Anything around this corner? No. Okay. Let's drop down to the next level. This is where a ladder is. That helps. Ouch. Damn it. Stuck. Doesn't seem to be anything on this end. We got a minigame portal. We'll be taking that in a moment. And we have a power-up gate. Or do we have a challenge gate? I still find it a little bit weird when you open the chest, it plays the power-up gate noise when you get a power-up in the original. Because, like, that sound effect exists in the game and is used, and yet it's not used for the actual power-up gates. It's a bit weird. Considering that, you know, Check 6 had to make it as close as possible to the original series, and they were actually provided the sound from the originals, like the sound assets from the originals. It's a bit weird how they actually got that sound placement wrong. That would be probably one of the first things they would have got right, considering they actually had the assets. Anyways, what do? We have more of these beacons that we need to charge. Beacons, pylons, I kind of interchange them, they're pylons. We shocked them all. We gotta go up and above in a bit, so we'll loop back round. Just an uno memento. Down to 3 already, not bad at all. The last 3 are up here, so we'll just climb up real quick. That works out well. Bonk, that's not bad. This one's pretty easy, actually, because, like, you have plenty of time, and it's a very open space, so you can see all the pylons really easily. Mr. Dragonfly.
Hey, it's Karen.
Oh, no. Yeah, that was not the best naming choice for future-proofing, considering, you know, I say pop culture, more like meme culture at this point. But yeah, we're done for this part of the level, really. I think it's time for us to go do a minigame, since we're here. Kind of a bit of a weird spot for one. It's just kind of like a very empty area there. They put a challenge there, and through a power-up gate, which doesn't actually really give you a power-up. I forget, if you go through those gates, does it actually auto-swap your breath to the correct one? I think it might do. I just normally swap to the breath that I need.
My calculations indicate that this volcano is about to explode. Slide down to the bottom before it's too late, and don't worry about me. Save yourself.
Alright, no worries then.
Slide down the volcano?
What? You're giving me a choice. I'm gonna get burned alive otherwise. We just went through a portal. By the way, volcano exploding. Alright, see you, buddy. I don't know how you're gonna get down, but we just gotta go. Also, the music here is really jazzy. This is definitely not Copeland. I'm pretty sure. So, this is probably one of the... Well, there's only 3 slides, there's also 3 speedways. This is supposed to be the hardest one, and it can be, but considering that the first one was a time trial that you have to do twice, the second one is just go as fast as you can. Oh, I did press the jump button there. This one, you just gotta go down to the bottom.
You almost made it, Spyro. Try sliding a little faster next time. Slide down the volcano again?
I mean, did it not explode? I don't think you can go slow enough to get burned. I think it's just an excuse for you to actually go. And, yeah, it's like... The first one's, as I said, it's a time trial. Second one's an actual race, like, you have to actually win it, although the bee does go quite slow. And then this one is just get to the bottom. Like, there's no actual stakes. I mean, the way I describe it is that there's stakes, but I don't think you can go so slow that you actually fail, unless there is, like, a hidden timer or something. That boulder was just sliding, and now it's moon rolling. I invented that on Ocarina of Time Chaos Edition. You can't take that from me. It's already taken enough from me as it is. Let's just slalom right here. Leap! I don't think I mentioned it, but you can't glide during these. You literally just move and jump. Also, these blue little torches, for some reason, give me... oh, what's the level from Sonic Heroes? The Haunted Castle levels. They give me that kind of vibe, because they kind of, like, guide you to the way you need to go. So this level looks awesome. And I can't remember if I already mentioned it, but yeah, these slide levels actually run at 60 frames. Such buttery smooth. I think I've said that during the honey slide. But it's still quite impressive they were able to do that, considering that there's, you know, quite a lot of geometry that you go by, and it doesn't look like they skimped out on the quality either. But I'm guessing because there's no other entities loaded, it's not bogging the game down. I mean, I just had a little bit of a frame drop right there as soon as I mention it, but, you know. And plus, you're invincible as well, so it's not like we can actually die by getting hit either. It's just squeeze through! There we go! We made it.
You made it just in time, Spyro. Here, I found a dragonfly on my way down.
How did you beat me? Did you take a shortcut I didn't know about?
Hey, it's Saji.
We just had him in one of the interviews in one of our intros.
It seems as if the volcano has stabilized. Wanna try sliding down it again?
No thanks, I got Saji and he deserves a meal.
Okay, come back anytime.
Wow, the music ended perfectly there. And that sounded like a reused voice clip from somewhere else. That's a bit weird. But yeah, yeah, I don't know why the music is so loud during those slide levels. In the next episode, guys, we're going to be continuing on through Jurassic Jungle. The last level of the game. See you guys then.